the red fox, one of the great survivors of these lands. Here, in southwestern Spain, it happily shares its habitat with another predator, the mongoose. Together, these two have lived and hunted side by side for generations. This summer, however, is proving hard for both of them. Temperatures have been scorching, and there's been no rain for several months. With available food now in short supply, both foxes and mongooses are having to take drastic measures to survive. Another fox has succumbed to this brutal summer, and its scent has attracted mongooses nearby. Mongooses usually eat small mammals, birds and reptiles. Dead fox is not normally a meal. But this summer, there is nothing else to choose from. Their choice is between eating and starvation. That mongooses have been reduced to eating foxes, predators they share a bond with, is a worrying harbinger of things to come. This year, summer has wreaked havoc in the forest. Animals like the red fox are simply not managing to survive. Where carrion can be found, it falls to apex predators like this golden eagle. But desperate to eat and smelling food nearby, this fox has no choice but to try his luck. With razor-sharp claws and a beak as strong as steel, golden eagles can make easy prey of foxes. But a slave to hunger, the fox inches in. In normal circumstances, the fox would never risk coming this close to a golden eagle. But these are not normal circumstances. For all animals, surviving in Iberia's woodlands has never been this hard. Today, this fox's hunger will not be relieved. Whether or not it will survive summer is yet to be seen. All animals are hardwired to survive. Even in the most testing of habitats, they search to satisfy their basic needs. Animals here search for places to hunt, mate, and shelter. But most importantly, they must search for a good place to drink. With the scorching heat of summer building, water is now the most precious resource. These red-rumped swallows are collecting mud to build their nests. They are extremely late in breeding. Usually, this would have been done in spring. However, due to unprecedented climate change, many species are confused by uncharacteristic seasons that seem out of sync. In areas where clay soil allows for water retention, mercifully, some small ponds do exist. While the waters last, animals will travel here every day to quench their thirst and take respite from the sun. As day gives way to night once more, a creature emerges who has survived here since the 4th millennium BC. An unlikely survivor, the Etruscan shrew is the smallest terrestrial mammal still living on Earth. Weighing in at under 2 grams, less than the weight of a paperclip, his heart beats nearly 1,200 times a minute. Yet, despite his diminutive size, he is one of the fastest and most tactile hunters in these forests, though only small insects need be alarmed. In most instances, the shrew's small size helps him go unnoticed. However, he is vulnerable to one predator whose poor eyesight does not diminish its hunting prowess. This tawny owl hunts with an almost supernatural sense of hearing. And tonight, it's listening for something to eat. The Etruscan shrew has very poor eyesight, but its senses of smell and hearing are extraordinary. Hyper alert, he senses he is in danger, even if he doesn't know from whom. When in doubt, better safe than sorry. With the shrew ensconced in the shell, the tawny owl heads off to assess other hunting grounds. Next, he will try his luck at a nearby pond, which he can hear is awash with activity. These Iberian green frogs excite the owl's predatory instincts. But catching a leaping frog is hard, even for an accomplished predator like an owl. A miscalculated attack will send the frogs scampering deep underwater. The owl must strike with silence and precision if it has any chance of catching a frog. success. Whilst not as appetizing as shrew, tonight the tawny owl has at least secured a substantial meal. A rare reservoir of spring rain is a sanctuary for birds parched by summer's sweltering heat. These ponds are formed from rainfall accumulated throughout the year. For many of Spain's sedentary bird species, like mallards, grebes and glossy ibis, this pool will be their home for as long as the waters last. For others, like flamingos, they come here every year in celebration after successfully breeding nearby. But for storks migrating south to Africa, these reservoirs are lifelines. Like a compass, they direct the flock, sometimes more than 8,000 strong. With still more than 3,000 kilometers to travel, these storks will pause here to replenish themselves and rest. Traditionally, the stork's departure from these waters is a sign that summer is nearly complete. However, these days, rising temperatures from climate change are unsettling the natural order. Each year, ever more storks abandon their migration to remain in Spain throughout the winter. What this means for the future of the species, no one truly knows. But for now, whilst the majority of storks do migrate, it is still possible to witness one of the most beautiful spectacles on Earth. A signal in the wind has announced that the time to depart has come. These storks will now travel to their winter grounds in sub-Saharan Africa. A majestic sight, their presence in Iberia will be missed throughout winter. However, in just 5 months' time, they will return when they herald the arrival of spring. Nature is constantly in flux. As the storks up sticks and leave, it marks the transitioning of the seasons. In September, the roars of red deer fill the forest. Rutting season has arrived. This bellowing male is angling for attention. he is daring other males to fight him for supremacy of these lands. Responding in kind, this younger male aspires to the crown. It means that battle will commence. Pumped full of testosterone, these male deer are battling for the most important prize of their lives: access to a harem of fertile females. Combat will only end when the weaker animal surrenders. But with no sign of that happening anytime soon, an opportunity presents itself for another competitor to try his luck with the females. With so many rival deer competing in this way, rutting season in Iberia is never short on drama. In recent years, Iberia has seen an explosion in its red deer population, but drought conditions, particularly in the south, are making it ever harder for them to survive here. Increased rivalry and diminishing resources mean ever more deer are being found dead. Griffon vultures have adapted to this new reality with characteristic ease. Vultures are the great scavengers of the forest. Feeding on the carcasses of dead animals, they soar over open areas, scanning the ground below for potential meals. Here, they have found a male deer who has not survived the summer. A feeding frenzy. It's a lucky day for the horde. At a kill, admittedly, things do get ugly. Competition can be fierce, and fights regularly break out between birds. As more and more diners join the party, tensions rise. No one is prepared to relinquish their share of the feast. Whilst it seems that etiquette is abandoned entirely, in truth, hierarchy determines the choreography of the meal. The most dominant vulture feeds himself, then controls the order in which others eat. The hungriest are fed, whilst latecomers are rejected from the feast. Like all scavengers, vultures play a critical role in the forest's ecosystem. Sanitarians of the land, by cleaning the fields of carcasses, they help prevent the spread of disease between species. Here, after just a few minutes, all that is left of this deer is its skeleton. For those vultures who were able to feast, they will now survive for several weeks without needing to eat again. The others, however, will continue in search of another corpse. Rivalry can be harsh, but it is essential, for it's nature's way of ensuring a species' best chance of survival in these savage lands. As summer fades away in Iberia's woodlands, it is soon time for winter to arrive. With it, new challenges will come to the Mediterranean. New sounds fill the land, and new visitors the skies. These cranes are here from Northern Europe to enjoy a milder winter. But even in more temperate months, surviving here is never guaranteed. Now, as the climate changes faster than ever before, life becomes ever more uncertain as wildlife is increasingly under threat. And whilst nature will ultimately decide who survives here, humans must take responsibility. Conservation efforts and politics can affect change if forged by the better angels of our nature. For if we do not take action, these ancient and diverse woodlands will be nothing more than a memory of what nature used to be.